So, someone just told you that you have too many hobbies. Again. Or that critical inner voice is telling you it makes you scattered, inefficient, messy and chaotic. Or maybe you're someone who doesn't get it, and you're curious about why anyone would possibly want to split their time in so many different directions. Well, I'm here to tell you about the positive side of having too many hobbies. Because yes, it is a struggle to juggle them all. Progress takes longer, some things inevitably get left by the wayside, and staying organised can feel pretty impossible. If you ask me, I'm pretty sure staying organised is actually impossible. But personally, I think the positives make the whole struggle worth it. But first, if you're new here, hi! I'm Beth. I'm a writer, knitter, fibre artist and lover of all things creative. And I make videos all about the magic and mindfulness of making, so as to, hopefully, inspire you to live more creatively. First, a quick note. While this video is primarily about creative pursuits, most of these points can also apply to pursuits that are not necessarily creative. Hobbies like reading, gaming, watching films, doing jigsaws, hiking, and I say not necessarily, in part because some of them can be creative. Think of all the things people have made in any computer or console game where you can build things, for example, but also because they are all valuable, even essential to living a creative life. They might serve to provide inspiration, or to give your mind space to wander, process thoughts and explore ideas, or use the same skills that creativity develops, or that you need to be creative, like problem solving, for example. So yeah, most of the examples I'll be using throughout this video will be things that are more strictly creative, in that you start out with some materials and end up with a thing that you made. But this does also apply to most hobbies in general as well. And this also applies to different projects within that same hobby. So no, I'm not telling you that you can start learning to paint, sing or bake when you're mid-knitting project, but you can't possibly cast on a new knitting project. That would be quite hypocritical of me, given that I almost always have at least 4 knitting projects on the go at any one time. On purpose. Like, it's intentional. I literally aim to have at least 4 knitting projects at once. Okay, enough preamble. Let's get into it. A change is as good as a rest. Different activities exercise different muscles, and I mean that both literally and figuratively. From a literal perspective, some activities might, for example, require standing or sitting in a particular position for a long period of time. Others, meanwhile, are very brain intensive, and others still are very hard on your hands. When you need a break from one position or motion, it can be nice to have an alternative enjoyable activity to turn to instead. Otherwise, are you supposed to just do nothing if your wrists ache from knitting too long? Or if you're too mentally tired from work to think about the story you're writing? Personally, I'd say that doing another activity that you are capable of right now beats doom scrolling or staring at a wall by a long shot. Sometimes it's less about what the hobby requires of you, or the physical effect it has on your body, and more about the context in which you can do it. Maybe you have certain hobbies that need you to sit in a particular location, at your sewing machine for instance, or at your loom, your spinning wheel, or your desk. But today you'd rather sit on the sofa or in bed, and you still want something you can make or do with your hands. Or maybe it's about portability. Baking, gardening, and anything that requires bulky equipment can't be done while you're out and about. But a small knitting project or hand sewing project can easily be chucked into a bag and brought with you, so you can create on the go if you want to. A bit of stitching is a great alternative to scrolling or being bored while on the bus or in a waiting room, if you weren't already aware. If you're watching my channel, you're probably already aware. In the same way as different exercises train different muscles for different results, different creative pursuits also serve different purposes. Some hobbies give you relaxation or a pleasant tactile experience, while others may be less relaxing or pleasant in terms of the process, but you find them very rewarding and fulfilling when you do complete something. For me, for instance, the process of writing fiction is a lot of staring at a blank screen or page, struggling to remember words or puzzle out a plot hole. But when I do succeed in doing it, it literally makes me feel like my life has meaning. Meanwhile, knitting usually gives me a much quicker boost. I love the feeling of the yarn and the motion of the needles, and the progress is so tangible. I find it therapeutic and fun, when it's going right, of course, which isn't quite as profound as the sense of purpose I get from writing, but that doesn't mean it's not also valuable and important. They're just two completely different things. They scratch different itches, you know? It is all about the variety. As they say, it is the spice of life. Each hobby ticks different boxes in terms of what it requires and of what it gives you. And I'd be very surprised if all your hobbies ticked all the same boxes. Different creative pursuits can bring new perspectives and teach you new skills. You learn new things from each hobby that you may be able to apply to other hobbies or other areas of your life. For example, knitting has done a lot for me in healing my perfectionism, teaching me that mistakes are often either too minor to notice or entirely fixable, and therefore, either way, they're not something to panic or get upset over. This is revolutionary for me, when the fear that I won't be able to do things perfectly often prevents me from starting in the first place. Of course, this can also apply at a much more physical level. Knitting skills may be transferable to crochet and vice versa. You already know about stitch tension and different yarn types. Sewing skills can transfer between dressmaking, quilting, embroidery. Knowledge of music theory and the ability to read sheet music may transfer between different instruments. As well as learning new skills, you might learn new things about yourself. Maybe you learn that you hate fiddly little details, or maybe you learn that you excel at them. Maybe you learn whether you learn best by reading or hearing an explanation, by seeing someone doing something, or by doing something yourself. And most importantly, you've learned what you're capable of. Not necessarily the limit of your competence, but you have learned that you are capable of whatever it is you just did. And that is such a confidence boost. I think part of why we end up starting to collect hobbies in the first place is that we think, hey, if I can do this thing that I just learned, maybe I can learn that thing too. It's so empowering. You might also learn things not just from the hobbies themselves, but from the act of having multiple hobbies too. For example, in starting out any new pursuit, you learn that you usually suck at something when you first start, and you have to push through to improve. The first time or two you go through this, it can be really frustrating and discouraging. You don't know yet whether you'll improve or whether you're just bad at this and you should just quit right now. But the next time, you know to expect that. Sure, it still doesn't feel good, but it's something normal that you've experienced before, rather than something unfamiliar and scary. You know what to do about it. You know you are capable of pushing through it and improving if you want to. And you've probably learned at least a measure of patience and persistence too. All these skills and experiences make you more of a well-rounded individual. You're not stuck on a singular path. You're keeping your mind open and growing your knowledge and expertise in a much more general and varied way than someone who only focuses on one or two things. It gives you a way to connect. Have you ever stood next to someone at a social gathering or in the break room at work and just had no idea what to say to them? Well, worry no more, because having hobbies gives you a whole bunch of interesting new things to talk about. What's that? I still worry about what to say to people all the time, even despite all my hobbies? Look, I said it would give you options when it comes to conversation starters. I did not say it could cure social anxiety. Obviously, not everyone always wants to hear about what you're cross-stitching or what you're growing in your garden, but it is another possibility to consider before you resort to awkward silence. And if they do want to talk about it, then congratulations! You may have just made a new friend. Maybe they can also talk to you about their hobbies. Besides being a good topic of conversation, you can also find communities or clubs, either locally or online, dedicated to your hobbies, which will enable you to meet like-minded people and make new friends and connections. For example, maybe there's a local writers group or knitting circle, or maybe you'll find a Facebook group or Discord server full of people who share one or more of your interests. The more hobbies you have, the more options you have for groups to join. In addition to giving you new ways to connect with new people, having skills in a variety of crafts also gives you more ways to deepen your connection with people already in your life. You're no longer limited to doing just one thing to show someone you care about them. You could bake them a cake, you could paint them a picture, you could make them a greetings card. You can make these things so much more personal to the recipient than anything shopboard could be. But even if you keep these things generic, it should still mean a lot to them that you put in all that time and effort for them. And if they don't, well, I'd say that's rather telling of the kind of person they are. Obligatory side note for the people-pleasing crafters in the audience: not everyone is craft-worthy, and you have every right to be choosy in who you will make things for. This is a hobby. You are not obligated to make anything for anyone, and you are allowed to say no if someone asks you to make them something. But I thought I'd mention the point anyway, because I've received some lovely handmade gifts and cards that have made me feel very loved. And having multiple crafts just, again, gives you more options for how to do this. If it brings you joy, then why not? At the end of the day, we're talking about what you do in your own free time. Time that is not owed to your boss or your co-workers. Time that you have carved out to spend away from other responsibilities. Time that you get to decide what to do with. You get to decide to spend that time doodling aimlessly, messing about with ideas you may or may not pursue, playing with words or craft materials. And if you find that satisfying, soothing, or fun, or fulfilling, or exciting, or interesting, then it's not a waste. Whether or not you made progress on anything, it's a worthwhile and valuable occupation. As humans, we need a way to relieve stress, to release tension and negativity, to rest and recharge enough to have the strength to pick up your responsibilities again and carry on. Going back to the exercise metaphor from earlier, athletes need rest days to let their body recover from training. And in the same way, you need a break to recover from the demands of life too. We need outlets for our fears and frustrations, ways to regulate and recuperate, and arts, crafts, and other creative hobbies can be that for us. Does it really matter if you do that with one hobby versus several that you rotate between? Either way, it's a way of keeping your spirits up, looking after your mental health, and preventing burnout. Besides, perhaps the thing that brings you joy isn't just the hobbies themselves. Perhaps it is also the act of trying something new, of learning how to do something you didn't know before. The challenge of being a beginner can be so invigorating, not to mention the seemingly endless, exciting possibilities of what you could do with any new craft. Is it any wonder that we love collecting new hobbies like Magpie collecting shiny things? And I know some of us have a lot of shame around picking up new hobbies and then abandoning them. Partly because of the money we may have spent acquiring the necessary tools, partly because we want to prove that this is really what we want to do. This is the real us, that it's not a phase. But what's so wrong with it being a phase? No, seriously, I want you to tell me what's so wrong with going through a phase. Currently, I'm in a phase of making this video. Next month, I'll be in a phase of making a different video. All of life is basically just a phase. Even if we don't pursue all of these hobbies, they were still worthwhile if they brought us some joy and some respite from life's hardships. At the end of the day, there is no right way to live life. Some would say you should focus on productivity, on getting results and getting them as fast as possible. Others would say it's better to live more slowly, to have a life that balances work with rest and joy. It's all a matter of opinion, and it's up to you to decide what you do with your time on this earth. After all, our lives are unfortunately not infinite, so no matter how many times we say there will always be time to try these new things later, that's not a guarantee. So it's up to you whether you decide today to focus on finishing what you've started before trying new things, or whether you decide to try them now regardless. Neither option is wrong, they're just two different approaches out of many possible valid approaches. So, next time you feel down on yourself about having too many hobbies, these are just some of the positives you can remind yourselves about. Yes, maybe you can be a bit scattered and a bit chaotic. Sure, maybe it'll take you longer to make progress, and some hobbies or projects will end up on the back burner, or even completely abandoned. But to look at it from another angle, you're a well-rounded human living a full, varied life. You're exploring possibilities, having new experiences, and making the most of your time on this earth by constantly learning, growing, and challenging yourself, and hopefully having fun while doing it. You are not wrong for wanting to do all these things instead of focusing on one thing and sticking to it. Honestly, that sounds kind of boring. The creative life is an adventure, and who knows who you might meet and what you might discover along the way. So go forth on your journey of being or becoming a multi-craft enthusiast and say begone to the naysayers. Am I an enabler? I think I'm an enabler. I will not be held responsible for however many new crafts you pick up as a result of watching this video. Alright, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you can let me know by clicking the like button and telling me your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to chat about why or why not you think having multiple hobbies is valuable, and if you think I missed anything. And if you haven't already, feel free to subscribe and check out my previous videos, and I'll see you in the next one. But until then, happy crafting.